Alright, so this is how we do the regression equation on Excel. So if you look at your homework, you can see I've already copied all the data down onto my spreadsheet. I have all my years, I have all my heights, alright? So here they all are. They all line up, so let's zoom in a bit so we can see. So here's all my data. So the first thing I have to do is I have to find all the different variables I need for my regression formula. So I'm going to need R, I'm going to need my standard deviations, I'm going to need my averages. So first, we got to go through that whole process of finding correlation. The first thing I'm going to do is find my average for each of these variables. So I'm going to find the average for a year, I'm going to find the average for my height. So I'm going to go down here under the year column. I'll leave a space so I know where it cuts off. But in order to find the average, I do equals. You can see I type in AVER and these options show up. So I want to choose the option that just says plain old average. Select it, and then you want to go and select all of the data in this column. All right? That'll take the average of the years. Hit enter, I get 1952.4. Do the same thing for the height column. So equals AVER. You see right here, it gives me a little shortcut. So instead of selecting this one and then selecting all my data manually, I can select this one and it already has all the data I want selected. So I select that. You can see it went one too far, so I'll just change that to B26, and you can see now it went there. It selected only what I want. Hit enter. So the average of my height is 4.7928. Next thing I want to do, I want to find my standard deviation of each. So remember, we use STD-EVA. That is the correct standard deviation we want. So I select that option, select all my data in the year column, and hit enter. So this is my standard deviation for the year. Do the same thing, but with your height. So for the height standard deviation, I get 0.9086, yada yada. So next thing I want to do is continue on with my correlation formula. So now I need to find the z-scores for the year and height for every single one of them. So this will be my z-score of my heights. This will be my z-score for, or excuse me, zx is the z-score for the year. Zy is the z-score for the height. So the formula for the z-score in Excel, we do equals, parentheses. Now select your first year, minus, and we want to physically type in the average in the next spot. So scroll down, you can see the average for year was 1952.4, so I'll type in 1952.4, close the parentheses, and we're going to divide by the standard deviation of my years. So 33.426536. And the more decimals you use, the more accurate your answer will be. You guys only have to do 3 decimals or so. I just did 6 to be safe. I'm going to hit enter. So that is my z-score for my first year. What I'm going to do is drag this down, and that will give me all of my z-scores for the years. I'm going to do the exact same process but with my height information now. So under my zy, I do equals, parentheses, select my first height, minus, and I am going to subtract the average, so 4.7928, close the parentheses, and divide by the standard deviation. So 0.9086277. So that's my first z-score for the height. I will now drag this down so that I get all my z-scores for the height. The next thing we do is we have to multiply our z-scores. So this will be the multiplication column. What I do is equals select my first z-score. Shift 8, that will give me the star. The star symbol is a multiplication symbol. After I get that star, I select my first zy. So I'm taking my two z-scores and multiplying them, hit enter, and of course I will have to drop down so that I can multiply all of my z-scores. All right. 2 more steps in order to find a correlation. So, next thing I do, I want to add all of these z-scores together. So we all know the add command, it is equals sum. And look, it's already given me the option to add all these together, and it'll probably do that with you as well. If it doesn't, just go through and select this column, it's fine. But once you have sum and you selected your data, equals. So if we would add all these together, we would get 23.46455, yada yada. The last step, in order to get R, in order to get our correlation, we do equals, select the number we just got, so that 23 point whatever, divide it by our n minus 1. Remember, n is the total amount of data we have. So if we look over here, our data starts in the 2 column, and it ends in the 26 column. So that means that we have 25 data points here. So if n is 25, n minus 1 has to be 24. So we will divide by 24. And we can see here the 0.977, that is our correlation. That's our R value. So I'll just put a little R next to it. So we have all the variables we need now to plug into our y equals mx plus b for the regression formula. So remember, you guys should probably pull out your notes so you can see the equations for m and the equations for b, because I can't really type them on Excel. But m equals r times the standard deviation of y over the standard deviation of x. So I'll make a little, we'll just do it here, an m column, and under there I'm just going to type in equals and then select all the data I need. So first thing I need is r, so select my r value. I'm going to multiply that by my standard deviation for y, which is this 0.9086, and I'm going to divide by the standard deviation of x, which is the 33.4265. I will hit enter. So the slope of my equation, my m for the regression line, is 0.026576. Now we have to find our y-intercept. We have to find b. So what I am going to do is I'm going to break this into chunks, because if I typed it all in on Excel, order of operations would do it wrong. So our b formula is negative bracket r times s of y over s of x. We multiply that by x bar, and then we add all of that to y bar. So the first section we're going to do is we're going to do the bracket section. So we're going to take our slope and multiply it by the average of our x's. So what I want to do here, and we also have to make that negative, so we might as well do it now. So equals minus parentheses, we use parentheses here instead of brackets. I'm going to select my slope, and I'm going to multiply it with the average of my x's, so 1952.4. Enter. So the first portion of the b equation is negative 51.887. All I have to do now is add that with my y bar. So equals, select that negative 51.887 plus average for my y's. Enter. So my intercept, my b, is negative 47.0949. So summing this all up, my regression equation is going to be y equals 0.0265 x minus 47.0949. All right, so that is the first part of the homework. That is question 1. So in that equation line, we would do y equals 0.0265x minus 47.0949.